Hello, welcome to Curry TV. On this episode, we'll be introducing some fall recipes. For that, Linny is going to share some of her recipes. You know, when we came here, I didn't know what fall was.
Even I didn't know what fall was, and people were saying it's going to be so beautiful, and I thought it's going to be cold and wintry, and I never felt that fall was that beautiful.
Exactly. So fall is also known as autumn. Like in India, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn or fall, and winter. So during fall, all the leaves change its color. Some pine trees doesn't change its color, but majority of the oak ones or maple ones, they do change color, and it's so beautiful to have a stroll in the park or just walk through your neighborhood.
Mostly I notice the oak trees and maple trees. Some are real red color, some orange, yellow, and for so many years, like in the beginning, I never noticed. Like I thought autumn season, all the leaves are going to fall down, it's going to be rainy and cold, but over the years I learned how to like the color change and enjoy the season.
Right.
And we change our cooking mode also to the fall season.
Right. It's somewhat similar to Onam in India, right?
Yeah.
Because you get to harvest all your veggies from your garden. You go for apple picking. There is pumpkin patches coming. That's a big deal here. What are we going to do today?
Why don't we make some apple cake?
Apple cake.
Yes.
So is it some particular cake recipe that you got?
This is like a special recipe for me. So 25 years before, I happened to go for like a function, and there was a baking competition. Then everybody was walking around tasting different kind of cakes and just voting. And they had categories: the best decorated cake, most tasty, authentic, so many categories. And this was a cake which won the most tasty. She was so happy to share the recipe with me, and I kept the recipe with me, and I have shared this recipe with so many people. And I don't keep the recipes for myself. I don't have any problem sharing it. So today I like to
sharing is caring.
Share this recipe with you, and you can make the cake and enjoy it. And this is with the cinnamon. I love the taste of cinnamon. Also, I put raisins and walnut. Walnut, I feel it when it's the baking stuff. It tastes.
It releases its own oil, right? And it actually infuses the whatever you're making into such moist cake. So that's the benefits of having, if you add walnuts or even pecans.
Yeah, and walnuts are easily available here. So this time I'm going to use walnut and raisins, then apple. I can show you the ingredients.
Okay, so let's take a look at all the ingredients that is going to be needed for this particular recipe. All right, so for this recipe, we're going to be using 3 or 4 apples. How many apples?
4 apples.
4 apples peeled and grated. So how much would that be? How many cups is that?
We can measure it after we grate it.
Okay.
So 4 medium-sized apples.
Okay.
So I have taken Red Delicious, but you can take your favorite apple.
Okay.
And Red Delicious doesn't have much water in it, so it's kind of little. I think I like that one better.
Okay.
So the cake will be dry.
Okay. So and we are going to be using 4 apples and then
2
flour.
cups of flour.
2 cups of flour, so that we're going to be sieving it through a sieve.
Yes.
To make sure that all our dry ingredients mix well. And what else do we have? Baking powder. So that's about 1.5 teaspoon.
1.5 teaspoon baking powder.
Baking powder.
Baking soda.
Half teaspoon.
Half teaspoon.
And a half cup of vegetable oil.
I have used vegetable oil. And this
oil.
is like, one cake which we don't use butter.
Right.
So it's a little bit more healthy.
It's more in my favor because I'm lactose intolerant. So I can't have anything that have dairy in it. So egg is okay, but mostly when I have allergic reactions if I have milk or something of that sort. But she knows me.
Yeah.
This is my second home, so
this is
okay. And sugar is 1 cup. 3 eggs.
3 eggs, and if the eggs are in room temperature, it's better for baking.
It's better for
Yes.
And cinnamon. Cinnamon is how much? 1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon of cinnamon and
Yes.
salt to salt.
Salt like I'll
pinch.
use a pinch.
Okay.
And
then raisins is half
cup. And
walnut 1 cup.
1 cup.
And then what else do we need?
And we need like 2 loaf pans.
Okay, so this is a loaf pan. This is 2. We are using 2. This is 9 by 5 inch loaf pans,
Okay.
which we have sprayed with oil and then also lined with wax paper.
And
Both
if you
of-
want, you could make it in a bigger pan too.
Right.
But this way, I can make 2 and keep 1 for now and 1 for later.
Right. It's easier to even to serve as a tea snack.
Yes.
This is also perfect.
And if you eat it after 2-3 days, it's more tasty.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay,
let's see.
so let's start.
Okay.
So of course you need like a
Hand
blender and a grater.
Grater and a peeler.
So the basic principle of baking is mix the dry ingredients together, then mix the moist ingredients
Okay.
together, mix it together, and at the end you put the nuts and raisins.
Okay. So
And I have already preheated the oven for 350, and this cake takes, depending on your oven, usually 45 minutes to 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
So for me, I will always check it at 45.
45. Okay.
And then put maybe 10 more minutes if
Okay.
it's needed.
So if to check if your cake is done, just insert a toothpick in the middle, and if it comes out clean, that means your cake is done.
Yes.
So let's start the process.
So I'm going to take 2 cups of flour.
All-purpose flour.
All-purpose flour.
Into a sieve.
Yes. And put 1 more cup.
Okay. Into that same pan is where we're going to put the baking powder and baking soda.
And you can put
And
the
then
cinnamon
also
too.
the cinnamon. So this way we can make sure there's no lumps in between. So our dry ingredients are all done.
Then I will mix the dry ingredients really well.
Okay. So you don't need a standing mixer for this.
You can do without the standing mixer also.
And roughly the grated apples came to close to 3 cups, right?
Yes.
When we measured it. So 4 medium-sized apples is equal to 3 cups of grated.
Yes. Now
Okay,
mix
now
the
we're going to mix in the wet ingredients.
wet ingredients. So I have sugar, oil.
Okay.
Put
So
the
that's
oil
half cup
first.
of oil and 1 cup of sugar.
1 cup of
That's
sugar.
along with 3 eggs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was easy. Yolk and white
you
is
can
okay?
do both. Yes.
Okay.
Keep the hand mixer ready. You always go in one direction.
Okay. And this is on medium low?
First I started low, then go medium.
So are we getting into peak size or no?
No, just mix it really
Mix
well.
it up,
yeah.
okay.
You don't have to like make it fluffy or anything. As long as it's mixed well. So this is ready now.
Okay.
It's all mixed. So then switch it off. Then
Should we add salt to this
a
now?
tiny pinch of salt.
Okay. Master Chef, go for it.
Yes.
Do we need to coat the apples in this flour mixture? Otherwise, is it going to sink at the bottom?
You don't need to,
You don't
because
need to.
this is not going to be that watery.
Okay,
It's going to
so
be like, you'll see that it's going to be a very thick mixture.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Then you add this mixture to this one.
So we're making sure that the sugar did dissolve in along with that egg and oil.
Okay, you mix it well. You can add the apple.
Apples.
So you have to peel the apple right before, otherwise it can get black.
Oxidate. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
You don't even need the hand mixer anymore. You can just mix it like this.
Now this is our workout for the
Yes.
day. Look up at those biceps. Did you go to the gym today?
Today I didn't go.
Well, she is doing the gym right workout now. Wow, very good.
Yes. So then add the raisins and walnut. Then if you like cashews or any kind of nut, you add. Okay. Now I'm going to add the walnuts.
That's 1 cup of walnut.
And half cup of raisins.
Okay.
And if your kids don't like raisins, don't put it. But I like raisins in this kind of cake.
Okay.
Apple cinnamon cake.
Okay. And they can substitute the walnuts with the pecans or
Cashews,
hazelnut.
It's mixed so well. Now you transfer.
So you're
It has to be equal part.
Okay.
Because you're going to put it in the same rack, so it will cook.
Okay. Does it matter if it's at the top or bottom?
I put it in the middle.
Middle rack. Okay.
Okay, hold. Okay. Okay.
Very nice.
So just make it flat and make sure both the loaf are equal in size.
So we need to make sure there's no air bubbles in the bottom. So make it just around. Very nice.
See, because the batter is so thick, you don't need to put any flour or anything, and nothing will go down.
Okay.
The nuts.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So
okay. So this pieces are not going to sunk to the bottom. It's going to stay as is.
Yes, and just take it and put it in the oven now.
Okay. So the oven is already ready at 350. In goes.
I'm going to keep it in the middle
Rack.
This one.
Okay. And the timer for 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
Okay.
Apple cake is ready.
Apple cake. So this took about 1 hour and 20 minutes, right? So I think it varies because of the pan.
Yeah.
Each and your oven. So if your oven is more latest, it might take less time.
Yes.
But
and this vessel also, because of this one, took little longer time. So after 45 minutes in 350 degree, make sure you check. Then keep it until it's cooked.
Okay.
So it will take 45 to 1 hour plus.
Okay. So we inserted a toothpick to come out when it came out clean. That's when we know it's done. So this is actually ready, and we are just going to let it cool off, completely cool off before we remove it from this pan, and we'll show you how after we cut it into slices. So thank you so much for tuning into Curry TV. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as we did. Please do try out this recipe. Thank you so much to Linny
for
showing this
for
recipe.
watching.
We'll see you next time.
Yes.